All right, hello everybody. Welcome. It is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Hope you are well wherever you may be. You are here today for how to save 10 hours a week at work with AI. My name is Albert. I am the founder of Albert's List, and I'll be your co-host today. And with me is our presenter, Eric Forst. I'll share his LinkedIn here in a moment. He is a blockchain and AI executive, and he'll do a couple more detailed introductions. And he's here today to show you how you can be more efficient with AI at work, no matter what it is that you're doing, from email to content creation to just trying to be more efficient with your data collection. This webinar is being recorded today. I will follow up here with a link once this webinar is over to our YouTube channel, which I also invite you to subscribe to. And we look forward to also seeing your questions, which you can use in the webinar chat or the Q&A function. So without further ado, Eric, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Albert, thank you so much for the introduction, for helping to co-host this webinar. I'm really excited to share some tips and tricks for saving 10 hours a week at work with AI. Just give you a little introduction about myself. My name is Eric Forst. I'm a tech entrepreneur and businessman, and I've been using AI in a business context since 2007. I was the first salesperson hired by Visible Technologies, which was one of the very first social media sentiment and listening platforms back in the day. And we were using AI to help major brands and organizations understand positive, negative, neutral sentiment. So it was a really early form of analytical AI that used something called Bayesian inference. And
Eric, can you unshare and reshare your screen? Some folks aren't being able to see it.
sure. Um, let me stop. Let me share again. Can you see it now? Good. Okay. I'm going to keep going. So as I said, been using AI for a very long time. You just, if anyone can just type in the chat to confirm if you're seeing the screen now. Great. Okay, excellent. So as I mentioned, started using AI in 2007, 2008 for social media sentiment analysis. Have worked for a couple of different AI startups and started some AI startups along the way. Um, right now, I am a co-founder of two startups. One is called Bloxy. You can see the logo down there. And I also have a startup called Pangea Social. And ever since ChatGPT came out at the end of 2022, I've been using it almost every day for everything from marketing to project management to proposal writing to sales workflows. And I'm really excited to share with you today the way I've been teaching AI for the last 6 months. And you'll see a logo there called We Heart SF. I'm the coordinator of something called the Workforce Development DAO. And in that context, I've been teaching AI courses as a job development resource here in the Bay Area, and I live in San Francisco. So let's get started taking a look at how you can save 10 hours a week at work with AI. So AI is changing everything about work. And, you're probably here today because you've noticed that this isn't just another tool. This is a transformation in everything that has to do with communication, creativity, and really just being more efficient and effective in almost any job that you can imagine. So the key to that, the core to that is prompt mastery. So today we're going to look at the basics of prompt engineering and unlocking some powerful prompting techniques that can help you in almost any role. And we're going to look at something called custom GPTs, which is a feature available from ChatGPT from their Plus subscription. And it's also available to free users in the GPT marketplace. So I'm going to show you how to access and use custom GPTs and give you a preview of what you'll be able to create using Plus subscriptions to create your own custom GPTs in an ongoing series of webinars that we have available for you. Um, so, um, so it sounds like everyone has taken the poll. And Albert, do you have any kind of quick assessment, quick summary of what we saw in terms of, the biggest challenges at work?
Oh, I haven't launched that poll yet, but what
Okay.
we
I'm
see,
sorry.
I'll
What
launch
was the,
the
I'm
poll
sorry,
now.
the poll that we ran? Great. So now here's a new
Yep.
poll. So here we go. So what's your biggest challenge at work? And then what was the poll that you had at the entry when people were coming in?
Yeah, we were asking where people were in their AI skills, and the majority have had some experience,
Great.
with some being a little bit more experienced than average. So, and right
Excellent.
now in this poll, it looks like the majority are challenged by time management at work, with
Fantastic.
40% so far,
Fantastic.
followed by content creation.
Excellent. Excellent. We're going to give you some great insights onto both of those today.
And if you answered other, let us know what your other challenge may
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Great call. Yeah. Would love to see some of the other workflows and tasks that you all are interested in learning about. So let's go ahead and go through the presentation. So what is AI? I love this definition from Mashema Thompson, who runs a marketing agency in Oakland. AI works based on inference, not expertise or experience. And what's really important about this is that you have the most important role to play in using AI. The AI does not have an understanding of the real world. It does not have sensory experience like we have. It doesn't have, if you've got a few gray hairs like me, or a lot of gray hairs like me, it doesn't have your years or decades of experience doing jobs in the context of the real world. It can get pretty good at things just based on inference. So all it does is basically look at patterns that have been trained into its large language model. It detects patterns in that neural network based on the inputs and queries that you give it. And then it generates responses that sound relevant and good, but it really doesn't know anything the way we know stuff. So AI is going to be around, but the people who know how to use it and apply their experience and expertise to it with things like custom GPTs are the ones who are going to get ahead, whether you're using AI to start a business or just to get ahead in your career and in the job and in the business where you're trying to grow a career. So I'm glad everyone was talking about time efficiency because AI really is about productivity on autopilot, whether it's drafting emails, summarizing reports, or generating content. The key thing to remember is that it's garbage in, garbage out. Just like the way the models are trained from the beginning, the quality of the prompt that you give it also has a huge impact on the quality of the generative output. And it's easy to just slip into asking it anything, and it really is designed to give you very good results just from natural language conversations with it. But what I've noticed is that when I use a very purposeful approach to building prompts, I get a much better result and I save more time. So it helps both with quality and with efficiency. So the first thing to understand is this concept called a zero shot prompt, and how that compares to something that we call a few shot prompt or a multi-shot prompt. So an example of a zero shot prompt is write me a product description for a coffee mug, just the task itself. A few shot prompt is when you add context to that. So in addition for asking for a description, you might want to say, give me, might want to give it examples of other product descriptions that you like and tell it to use those as a sample for the new one that it's going to write for you. So let's do an exercise. Start by just using your free version of ChatGPT. If you prefer to use Anthropic, Claude, that's fine, or Google Gemini, whichever is your preferred AI, just type in, write a product description for a coffee mug and see what it gives you. And then for comparison, I'm going to copy and paste into the chat a multi-shot prompt. And so Open that. Home. Chat window. All right, so I'm typing into the chat this this multi-shot prompt. So copy and paste out of chat and then give it this much more detailed response. And so in the chat, for those of you who've had a chance to try both ways, um, if you can, just type some comments about the observation that you're noticing between the two. Or do you like one better than the other? Um, there are some really good reasons for why you might want to use a zero shot prompt. What happens, and what I've noticed, and I want to see if you guys notice the same thing, is that with a zero shot prompt, the ChatGPT will often get more creative. It will come up with stuff. And this is where we'll often, have problems with that. We'll get hallucinations or we'll get inaccuracies. And so you really need to be more careful when you use a zero shot prompt. But I highly recommend always kind of experimenting, using trial and error. Experiment between using a zero shot prompt and a more detailed prompt like this one. So zero shot prompt is just the first part, right where it's just the task. So I'll put that back in the chat. So it's just so this is the zero shot prompt. Write a product description for a coffee mug. And then the longer one, you can see it on the screen, and I also pasted it in the chat. I'll paste it in again just so it's more recent.
Yeah, Eric, just as you
Hey,
type into the webinar chat, make sure that
it's
you're
like I
typing.
was only sharing with very few people.
Yeah,
Here's the longer prompt.
there you go.
Thanks. Was not on sharing with everyone. Melissa is saying, I found sometimes it's at all unclear as zero shot prompting get the wrong results. But with constructive feedback, I can keep on task and be more creative. Um, yep. All right. Any other comments on doing this exercise before we move on? More focused answer, usually write a rough prompt and ask ChatGPT to write nicely. Yeah, that's a good idea. O3 Mini High is actually pretty good at zero shot prompt. Yeah, O3 Mini is good. But I've also noticed that it's more likely to hallucinate than O1 or 4.0. So be careful with O3 Mini. Um, it can give you some great stuff, especially if you give it a lot of clarity. But I've found that it tends to have more hallucination. Few shot prompt was more concise and to the point. Good, exactly, because it was following a very concise and to the point exemplar that we gave it. All right. So, any final comments or questions before we move on? Oh, good. Somebody tried Gemini, compared it to CCAI. he was more relevant and to the point. Um, that's great. And, of course, DeepSeek is the hot new AI out of China that a lot of people have been experimenting with. What I found, what a lot of people are finding is that it just gives sort of more natural conversational language when you're chatting with it. I don't know if anyone else has found that about DeepSeek. It feels a little less machine-like. AI said, upgrade your coffee routine with a mug that's built to last. All right. Great stuff. And I do highly recommend not just trial and error, different prompts like zero shot versus multi-shot, but definitely trial and error with the different models that people are mentioning in the chat. Great, great best practice. All right. Let's move on to the next exercise. Next slide. So now that you understand just the core of a simple zero shot prompt versus multi-shot prompt, the best practice in a multi-shot prompt that works for most business workflows, most business tasks, is this four-part formula of role, task, context, and format. Why is role so important? Why is it important to tell the AI what it's good at? Like, is it a marketing expert? Is it a project manager? Is it a creative pro or is it a financial analyst? The reason is because large language models use neural nets, and they're basically these giant matrices of words and weightings, numbers assigned to those words. And when GPTs came along, it made it possible for the existing compute power in NVIDIA chips to create really great generative outputs. And the T in GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer. And a transformer is a way to much more efficiently analyze the matrix, analyze the data in the model through something called an attention mechanism or an attention head. So when you give the AI a role in your prompt, you're making it a more efficient prompt because it's only going to look at certain parts of its database to bring back the answer. And it's going to look at more relevant parts of its database. So the role piece is a really important part of a multi-shot prompt. We looked at task already. And so we're going to do an exercise now where the task could be write a marketing email. If you just gave ChatGPT that prompt, you wouldn't get a very good or useful email. It would have absolutely no context to know what to write about. So the context is what's the purpose, or it can be, examples that you want it to understand. And that which kind of bleeds into the format. So part of the context we were giving it in that last exercise was we were also giving it a format. They were shorter, they had a certain amount of words, they had a certain tone and style. So by giving it the length of the output that you want, whether you want it in bullet point format or narrative, what style you want it in. Do you want a blog post, that's just professional and friendly, or do you want it to sound like a blogger who you follow, like Kara Swisher, if you're into tech, somebody like that. So actually naming and saying in the style of Kara Swisher, or people who grew up watching network news. I found that in the style of Walter Cronkite is an amazing style to give blog posts if you want a very even, non-biased, balanced, friendly, and professional sounding blog post. So, so that's what we mean by format. All of the things related to tone, style, and the word length and the way that you're actually going to write and construct the output. So let's apply this exercise. So you can do this for for your job. You don't have to do this to write a marketing email. Like maybe your job is customer support. So I want to write a customer support email. So tell it to act as a customer support expert. And where the task, it says write an email promoting a webinar on AI productivity for busy professionals. Think about something that you have coming up in your role, and ask it to write an email for that. Or you can use this prompt here. And again, I'm gonna put it into the chat this time. posting it to everyone. If you want to try this prompt that's here. And think about your audience. Who is it for? As part of the context that you give it. Um, and compare and do the exact same thing that we just did. Compare this more detailed four-part prompt to just a very basic task-oriented prompt, again, just to see what the GPT will create and invent for you. It might come up with some good stuff that you hadn't thought of. And and also just to see how it compares to a prompt where you actually give it its role and its format expectations. Yeah, Walter Cronkite was the guy who used to do the evening news on CBS back in the 1970s. Um, Eric says DeepSeek giving me a description that is much longer, prefer perplexity. Yeah, so if everyone hasn't heard of these different AIs, Perplexity AI was one of the first AIs that would actually give you links to the websites and the internet articles or internet URLs where it was pulling data for its generative output. ChatGPT now has that built in. Um, what personally do you like? I'm curious to hear what other people say, in the chat. For me personally, I like Anthropic's Claude if I'm doing more detailed writing. Um, but in general, I tend to use ChatGPT just because I love the ease of building custom GPTs, and I've built so many custom GPTs that are custom designed for my workflows that I tend to stick with ChatGPT. It's ChatGPT knowledge base, still limited to 2023 and earlier. Um, that's a good question. I'm not sure what it's up to now in the free version. I'm pretty sure the free version goes into 2024 now. If anyone knows the answer to that, please share it in the chat. The paid version is great because it will run web searches and it will update and it will complement what's in its training set with live data that it can find online. Yeah, good point. You can ask it what date and time it's up to. Great tip. Um, so if anyone runs that query, let's share what month it's up to on the free version. Melissa says, I love Claude AI and Perplexity and CCAI. Built custom bots and find Gemini isn't as good. All right. Any any comments or feedback on this four-part prompt? Did anyone have a chance to try copying and pasting the example out of this slide or creating a similar example for an email that you're trying to write at work? Would love to hear any experiences in what you got. All right, Erica is sharing, it looks like just the email from just using the exact prompt, really short, 100 words long, maybe too short. You can make it longer. It's, but it just depends what you're going for. 100 words, that's probably better for a social post. It's a little short for an email. I probably should have told it to be 200 words. Cutoff date for ChatGPT says June 2024. That sounds about right on the free version. And Yeah, good question as to whether or not the paid version. Um, let's see if the paid version has the same date. What is the date, the cutoff date in your knowledge base? June 2024. All right, so that's whether you're using free or paid, it sounds like. Yep. So yeah, good answer on all the different things you get in the paid subscription. Um, the best thing in the paid subscription that it didn't even list is the ability to make custom GPTs, which is what we go into in the next webinar. Eric Hiles created an email soliciting beta testers for a new software solution and got testers wanted. AI-powered warehouse management is here. All right. Looks like a good short email looking for beta testers. Does have the same date. Thanks, Eric V. Um, Melissa Harris to everyone, not agents. I'm not sure if that's what they're called. I'll see if I can send a screenshot. Perplexity Pro gave a nice response. Thanks, Marcus. All right. So let's move along. And unless anyone has any final comments or questions on this exercise, I'm going to move to the next part of the presentation. All right. So go back into slideshow mode. So custom GPTs, what are they and why is it the next level? So it's one thing to have a great prompt and you can get a lot done in the free version just using great prompts and uploading um, some documents into that. Which actually you can't even do in the free version. You can't do any document upload, even in the chat, I believe. So what's powerful about custom GPTs is it allows you to do something that's called retrieval augmented generation. It's a lot of words. The shortcut for that is called RAG. But if you break it down, what it really means is you're just augmenting, adding to the underlying language model that is the baseline model that everyone is using all the time. You're augmenting it with other information. So you can upload a brand style guide. You can upload examples of blog posts that you've written. You can upload transcripts of you speaking to train a custom GPT to write in your voice or in your brand voice. You can upload technical documents to create better FAQs and better customer service bots. There's so much you can do with RAG. It's RAG as in George. So retrieval, I'm going to type it here in the chat. Retrieval augmented generation, RAG. And so when you use the search feature in the paid version of ChatGPT, or when you use Perplexity and it goes out and looks for additional information on the web, that is also a form of retrieval augmented generation. That is also a RAG. So it's augmenting the baseline model that everyone uses, the one that stops in June of 2024, with data that it probably doesn't have in its training set. And you can make this a GPT that others on your team can share. You can make it a GPT that's available in the GPT marketplace, or you can make it private, a secret superpower that only you can use. It's up to you how you want to do it. And so, like it says here on the slide, whether it's for marketing, you can create outputs that are truly in your brand voice that sound like you paid a copywriter a lot of money to make it. You can send even more personalized emails. So when you take the prompt that we just created for a marketing email or promotional email or any type of work email, they'll be much more personalized. They will sound like you, and they will understand your business and its goals and audience much better than just using a generic prompt. It will be able to summarize articles and create insights and outputs that are useful for your customers. So let me give you a few demos of custom GPTs in action, some that I've built, and some that I have just found online and that others have used. And so, yeah, new poll. Thanks, Albert. Have you ever created a GPT in ChatGPT? So excellent. So mostly no's. You've come to the right place. So, so a few people have experimented with it, and hopefully you'll learn some best practices on how to make them even better. Um, and let's see, Albert, I guess, are you able to share the poll results with everyone as they come out? Um,
Yeah, I'm just letting it run its
Awesome to be able to
course.
see it. So yeah, far and away, only a handful of people have experimented with these. So I'm excited to share this with you all. So what's a custom GPT and what are some of the best ways to use them? Let's look at a few examples in marketing, sales, um, administrative support, or financial analytics. So the first one I want to show you is a GPT share results. Does that allow everyone to see it?
Yep.
Great. Okay.
90/10. Look at that.
Yeah. Um, so I think I hit the back button. I'm not sure if you're still showing it. So let me go to the custom GPT demo. So the first one I want to share with you is um, something that I built called the Pangea Social Blog Post Writer. So I'm a co-founder in a new social network called Pangea Social. If everyone goes to pangeasocial.com, you can sign up and try it out. And we're very early. We've only invited our friends and family for the most part to start using it and giving us feedback. So you're some of the first people outside of a small group to be aware of a new social network launching. So I'd love to have you try it out. But to promote this network, blogging is a huge part of our strategy. And the important part of a blog, one of the most important parts, is it helps you rank in Google searches. And so you want to optimize your blog posts with keywords that you're targeting from an SEO perspective. And then your blog really becomes the anchor point for a lot of your other content, for your LinkedIn, for your Instagram, for all of your social content. You can generate scripts from your blog posts to make videos. So it really all starts with the blog because you want people to find you if they're looking for related keywords on Google. So um, by creating a custom GPT, a Pangea Social blog post writer, I can design a prompt and it's prompting me, it's prompting the user for inputs. And this custom GPT is using a very advanced prompting technique called chain of thought prompting. And that's something we'll teach in the next webinar, which takes the four-part prompt to the next level. So that I can sit down or anyone else on my team can sit down with this GPT, hit the prompt button, and now it's going to ask me a series of inputs to define the goal of the blog post, the target audience, the format, tone and style, and are there any key topics or insights? So maybe there's, a new feature we're launching. Maybe there's something new that has happened in the industry. Um, maybe there was some new type of censorship taking place on one of the other social networks or um, things like that I wanted to write a blog post about. So I would just give it these inputs and it's going to crank out an outline and I'll have a chance to kind of give feedback on the outline and say, yeah, that looked good, keep going, give me a first draft and any final refinements that I want. So um, see if I can find one that I was working on the other day. So let's see. So here's an example of using it. It went through the preliminary gathering. And I said, the goal of this post is to get people to sign up for Pangea Social. My target audience is anyone sick of X, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, and wants more accurate news. The preferred topic for this post is why people are burned out on mainstream media in the wake of Trump's reelection and why Pangea Social and Pangea Daily can be the answer. Use your style guide. Um, so now it's giving me um, some SEO optimized title options and outline. And I'm saying, next steps, if I'm happy with this, let's proceed. I'm saying that looks great. And here's the headline that I liked. So why social media news feel worse than ever and how Pangea Social fixes it. So this is going to just start cranking out the post. And then I can say, and so I'm saying do a rewrite by researching some recent headlines from the past week. And so I want to augment it and have it kind of be more relevant to current events. And now I'm getting all that. And I'm also saying, you know what? I think this one's kind of boring. Make it more dramatic. Here's some other writers I like. And I realized that I actually wanted to update my model that I built. So I was able to add that into the base configuration of it for future reference. So now I'm just getting new versions of it. Um, and and then there's also a trick you can do, which is you can um, use the at sign and you can have one custom GPT reference another custom GPT. So here, I can say, I want it to also use the data analyst because I'm doing a blog post that is very analytical and maybe I'm having it analyze some, a new report that came out. So I could have it combine the power of two GPTs, which is what I was doing here. I had a custom GPT I built called Freedom Sentinel. Um, and so I wanted it to use that GPT to inform the way it was creating this new blog post. So that's an example of a custom GPT that is a blog post writer. Now I want to show you a hack, a way that anyone can do to build better prompts, whether you're building a custom GPT, or whether you're using the free version and you just want to find some really powerful tools because this is available in the free version. Over here on the left where it says Explore GPTs, a lot of people haven't done this for some reason, but when you hit Explore GPTs, you have a world of thousands of GPTs available at your fingertips. Some of them have been built by ChatGPT, but most of them, many of them here, cover a range of subjects. A lot of them here are for coding. Here's one for research. Here's one that integrates with Canva. Here's one designed for Dolly. Um, there's a whole bunch of writing GPTs. You can search GPTs for almost anything. The TA of the my TA Kachi Onyadar from the AI class I was teaching last fall, she was applying for PhD programs, and so she was looking for help with her PhD applications. And there's a PhD application guide, PhD application advisor. So she experimented with a bunch of those and just found one that was really good in helping her. And what's so powerful about this hack I'm going to show you is that for any of these custom GPTs that you find, you can ask it what was the configuration used to make it. So I love the data analyst GPT. Um, this is one where I can just drop in any files and let me show you how it works. Um, I can just upload a file. So let's go here to um, this report example and analyze And this is a report that has a whole bunch of online advertising click through performance data. So this is a sample report that a marketing agency would give to a client to show how their ad campaigns were working. Analyze this report and tell me what ad units worked the best. And so, just so you can see what it's crunching through to give me this data, it's basically a 28-page PDF just full of tables of numbers of all the different ad units, views, completions of forms, click-through rates, all this data. And so with this data analyzer, um, it's really giving me a super nice output synopsis that I wish the marketing agency had put into the first page of the PDF. So it's a super fast way to analyze it. If I ask regular GPT to do this, it will work, but it won't necessarily be as thoughtful or as high quality of a summary. And so for any of the GPTs that you find in the ChatGPT store, you can say, please share with me the configuration used to make this data analyst GPT. And so now it's telling me the system capabilities, custom instructions, and you can see here, even ChatGPT gives it a role, right? Help users analyze, interpret data. It's starting out with the tone and approach, the focus areas. So this is a whole bunch of format and context information that it's giving it. It's telling it what tools and integrations to use. Um, so it's actually, having it do Python calculations if needed, um, to do a specific workflow of report analysis, ad and marketing insights, trend analysis. Um, and it's telling me who this GPT was built by, how it's configured. So, so this is an example of what you can do with this Explore GPTs to use what's there, but also to take the prompts that were used to build them. And now you can copy and paste this into a new chat if you're just using the free version and just have that be a very detailed prompt. And what's so powerful about custom GPTs that will show in the paid webinar is how to save these, like I've done over here in this left nav bar, to have a whole arsenal of custom GPTs designed for your business. So let's look at another one. I like this one a lot. It's called Sales Enablement. This is one that a friend of mine made. And this is amazing. Most of us nowadays are getting Otter or Fireflies transcripts from calls that we have, or we're just recording our Zoom calls and getting transcripts directly for free rather than paying um, for one of those AI call summarizing tools. So with this sales enablement GPT, it's amazing for meeting follow-up. So it's saying, for those of you who are salespeople or doing business development, you're probably on, depending on the ticket price of what the product or service you're selling, you're on 5 to 50 calls a week. And so you're dealing with tons of transcripts and meeting notes that you have to put into your CRM, or that you have to put in, or the emails that you have to write. Just this workflow right here, back when I was a full-time sales rep, this one GPT would have easily saved me at least 10 hours a week, if not more. And so what I can do is I can just, it says if you've got a meeting notes or transcripts, upload it. So I'm going to upload a sales call I had last week with Martina Gill from my other startup called Bloxy. And I'm going to say, please analyze this call transcript. And so it's taking a look, and it's going to, do what Fireflies or Otter would do, um, giving me a summary of the call, who was on it, and what the call objectives were. So if you've used any of those call transcript AIs, you're probably used to this type of output. Um, and then we've got the objective of the call, key discussion points, um, and talking about our approach. Blocksy is a Web3 CRM and community management tool. Somebody's asking me, did I write the data analyst GPT? If that's correct. No, I did not. That was a free one that's just there in the Explore GPTs store. That ChatGPT made that one. Um, all right, so now it's giving a whole action plan and next steps for exploring Web3 for CRO. This is actually getting it wrong, saying, oh, this is a follow-up email to me. Again, this is just using a generic one. What's great when you can customize these is it will know who the audience is. So I can say, wrong audience, please make the email to Tina. And so now it's going to redo it. Oh, it's still going. It's still cranking out all the follow-up from just from that one transcript. So so it's giving me all of the next steps and notes that I can just copy and paste into my HubSpot or my CRM. It's giving me a great draft email uh, that I can use and just tweak to send back to her. And I love the fact that it puts the key takeaways right into the email for me. It's summarizing it. So this is the Sales Enablement GPT created by my friend David Posiak. Um, so that's a taste of what I wanted to share today. Each of these each of these GPTs that I shared with you um, could by themselves save you 10 hours a week, depending on what your role is. If you're wearing multiple hats in a small startup or as an entrepreneur, I think you can start to see the efficiencies you'll gain by building a whole bunch of different GPTs for your business and for your workflows. Um, and I invite all of you to learn more. You probably heard this quote. This is, I think Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn has said this. Just about everyone in Silicon Valley is saying this these days, that AI won't replace you, but someone using AI might. So we encourage all of you to continue to learn AI, to enhance what it does at work, to stay ahead of the curve by adopting these technologies and best practices. And we're going to do a 2-hour boot camp on March 11th. Albert, I think you've got the registration link that you can drop into the chat or into the Zoom for anyone who's interested. And what we'll do is we'll dive much deeper into how to build these types of custom GPTs that I was just showing you, um, how to build advanced prompts using chain of thought prompting. So when I asked for that advanced, when I asked for the configuration of that data and analysis GPT, we were seeing a little bit of chain of thought in there. Basically, that means guiding the user, guiding you through a step-by-step process where it's prompting you and asking you for inputs and asking you to validate initial drafts and outlines before it goes on to the next step. So we'll look at different ways to create chain of thought prompts to build really robust custom GPTs for your jobs and for your businesses. This will be hands-on training where at the end of the 2 hours, everyone should have a complete custom GPT built that is functional and ready to use. And like we were talking about with just experimenting with different types of prompts or in different types of GPT models, um, these custom GPTs just get better the more you use them over time because you can constantly go back, edit it, update it. For example, just in that one thread, I was noticing that I wished there was more drama, and so for a topical current events type of blog post, I actually added that to the configuration of my Pangea social blog post writer, um, and and yeah, 2 hours, March 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. Great. I see Albert has put the registration link in the chat. Um, it is not a free class. It is $99 to join the 2 hour AI bootcamp where we'll be going into uh, the chain of thought, and we'll be spending a lot of time looking at RAG, retrieval augmented generation, how you can not only give it a better prompt, but you can actually upload and save files to that custom GPT. So the Pangea blog post writer, it has white papers, it has sales presentations, it has other blog posts, it has our style guide all uploaded into the knowledge base to make it write great blog posts and LinkedIn posts for that business. Um, $67 it says when I follow the link. That's right. We're giving everyone a discount today. If you sign up from this link, you can join for 67 bucks. And since we still have a few minutes left, are there any other questions, comments, concerns, things that you want to talk about? Please put it in the chat. Let's look at some of the other questions here. How do you protect confidential company info from being in the public models? Great question. So there's a setting for that. So that's another good reason to use the paid version. You can go into settings and you can go into data controls. And right here where it says improve the model for everyone, that is turned off. And they also have the ChatGPT Teams plan, which is designed for small businesses and enterprises. When you're on the Teams plan, you get all of the features of ChatGPT Plus. You can build custom GPTs, but it puts a firewall around all of the data. It allows teams to share GPTs with each other, and all of the data that you upload into those custom GPTs on the Teams plan is protected as confidential company information. Let's look at some of the other questions. What did I ask data analysts? I just said, please analyze this document. And I uploaded, a 28-page PDF full of numbers. Yes, Eric is correct. That data analyzer GPT came from the standard marketplace, and I shared the Pangea social blog writing GPT that I built. Okay, I think I've answered most of those questions. Didn't realize GPTs were available in the free version. I'm glad to turn you on to that. Yeah, you can use them, you just can't make them. What are the steps to create a custom GPT?
Plagiarized.
Um, Sign up for the $67 webinar, and we'll give you a whole bunch of details on how to do that.
Awesome.
Albert, did you have any other comments to add?
Yeah, do you have a comment or thought on plagiarized content or content that is not negatively flagged by Google?
Um, Good question. Do I have any comment on plagiarized content, or say that again, or content that is not in Google?
Up to Melissa's question. How do you validate the authenticity of the content to ensure it's not plagiarized content and
Hmm.
accurate content?
Um, that's a good question. It's a really good question in terms of plagiarized content, meaning the stuff that you're using in your output. Is
Yes,
there a way?
some from somewhere else.
So I'm still not clear on the question, like the output that it gives you, or information you're giving it. How can I ensure that I'm not giving it plagiarized content?
The output the AI gives you.
The output the AI gives you. I believe there are plagiarism detector softwares out there that professors use to check on their students' work. So yes, you would want to check it with one of those if that's a concern for you. Yeah, but I have not noticed it give plagiarized content or even really had that be a concern. Um, for the most part, if it gives you an exact quote, it knows exact quotes. Like you can give it Shakespeare and it will tell you which play it's from. So it does a pretty good job of not giving you plagiarized content. In fact, OpenAI has been sued by the New York Times and hundreds of major publishers just for the fact that they trained on all of this copyrighted content. Um, so I know that they're pretty careful about making sure that they don't give exact outputs of any of that stuff in their generative outputs. That's for sure. Nathan Bond, thank you, old friend. I'm so happy you were able to join. Um,
While you were just doing this presentation, I created my own GPT where I call it Albert's Brain on AI and
awesome.
loaded some of my writing, and now it can write in my tone of voice.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Lawrence Kuhn, great. GPT-0. These are all the different plagiarism detectors. Thank you for sharing that. I know there's a ton of them out there. Um, oh, cool image. How did I generate that? Actually, my friend Josh used an AI to make that AI image of me. I can't remember which one of those AI profile um, generator GPTs. I'll try to find out which one it was, but my friend Josh made it. Well, actually, my co-founder at Bloxy, he was creating different profile pics for us, and so he made that one. Not sure which one he used. Thanks, Max. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks, Melissa. All right.
All right. Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and copy the uh I'm gonna go ahead and copy the workshop that Eric's has coming up here on the 11th. It's coming up in 3 weeks, and it'll be your chance to apply your AI skills into whatever it is that you're trying to do at work. And in addition, if you really like this webinar, we're running again next week too. So feel free to join us. I'll follow up with all of you and hope to see you all again really soon. Until next time, have fun with AI, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye, everybody.